now we'll go to the next session, which is going to be on aesthetics, curriculum, and literature, Sthapatya. There is going to be one paper on Sthapatya also. Okay, now the session is going to be on aesthetics, iconography, poetry, on and curriculum design. First paper is going to be by Muralidharan Pundichinnappa. It is going to be on Riti in Agni Purana. For those in the audience who may not know, let me inform that this is a very specific topic within Indian Alankara Shastra. So maybe the paper presenter is going to introduce you to the idea of Riti within Alankara Shastra, and then how Agni Purana has dealt with Riti. Professor V. Raghavan has done enormous research. He also is actually a KSRI person only, he was. And he has done research on the evolution of Alankarika ideas from ancient literature. And one of such ideas was also Agni Purana ideas, how they have been reflected in Alankara Shastra later. So I request Muralidharanji to actually change your camera position, sir.
Yes, sir.
You'll be able to see yourself in the camera. So we'll be able to see you just the way you see yourself. Okay, now now it is perfect. So
Okay.
yeah, so since this is a highly advanced topic within Alankara Shastra, maybe people need a small introduction to what Riti is in a popular way, in a general audience's perspective, and then go to Agni Purana and Riti in Agni Purana. Thank you very much.
Nagaraj sir, may I go ahead with the presentation?
Please go ahead with your.
Okay, sir. Thank you. स्वतः सिद्धं शुद्धस्फटिकमणिबुभृत् प्रतिभटं सुधासद्रीचीभिर्द्युतिभिरवदात अनन्तैस्त्रय्यन्तैरनुविहितहेषाहलहलम् हताशेषावद्यं हयवदनमीडीमहीमः वेदान्तलक्ष्मणमुनीन्द्रकृपाप्तबोधम् तत्पादयुग्मसरसीरुहभृङ्गराजम् त्रय्यन्तयुग्मकृतभूरिपरिश्रमं तं श्रीरङ्गलक्ष्मणमुनिं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीमते श्रीलक्ष्मी हयवदन परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमते श्रीरङ्गरामानुज महादेशिकाय नमः। श्रीमते श्रीवराह महादेशिकाय नमः। The topic given to me is Riti in Agni Purana. A very interesting topic, because the Riti, there were many rhetoricians, that is Alankarikas. They have batted for this Riti. First and foremost thing, I would like to tell the significance of Agni Purana. Agni Purana, actually, this is the conversation which takes place between Agni Bhagavan and sage Vasishta. In Agni Purana, Agni Bhagavan himself made an assertion that this is the Agni Purana is the Brahma Swarupa, that is the form of that supreme Brahman. So hence it is adorable. So Vedas are considered to be the fountainhead of knowledge. Okay, so the Puranas which we see are the summarized form of Vedas, we can say like that, because whatever the ideas have been pondered over in Vedas, the sages, the magnanimous sages, they have given us in the form of Puranas, because in Vedas there are many things. So when we talk about the significance of Vedas also, Tasya Nishwasitam Vedaha, there is a saying. So the Vedas are said to be the very breath of Lord.
May I request
Okay.
you, Muralidharanji, to
Uh,
make a few announcements before we proceed. This session is going to be with the four paper presenters. After this, there is going to be Saksham Agarwalji going to present on interdisciplinary curriculum based on the Panchalakshana of the Puranas. And after that, again, our KSRI scholar, researcher, senior scholar, Dr. V. Yamuna Devi is going to present on the significance and import of Geetams in Bhagavata Purana. And finally, there is going to be a Sushant Bharati's presentation by on Sthapatya in Agni Purana. And all these presentations are going to get completed before 1 o'clock this afternoon. We will then be moving to lunch.
yes, sir. Yes, definitely, sir. Keeping in mind your legitimate demand, I will just okay. I will try to be within the stipulated time. Let me try to complete the paper. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So the Agni Purana talks about Vedanta philosophy. While talking about the Vedanta philosophy, it touches many areas like Vyakarana Shastra, Ayurveda, Sahitya, and so on. So the in Agni Purana related to Kavya Shastra, that is Sahitya Shastra. In Sahitya Shastra, Kavya is a division. Okay, so in Kavya Shastra there are many things, like Dhwani, Lakshana, Riti. Riti is one among them. Rasa, Alankara, Gunas. So many things are there. So the Riti is one among the things which I have chosen, since it is a very interesting topic, Um, the Riti is said to be the soul, according to Vamana. According to Vamana, who says in his Kavya Alankara Sutra, Ritiratma Kavyasya. There is a sutra called, there is a sutra, Ritiratma Kavyasya. The Riti, which is said to be the soul of your poetry. So we don't need any other thing. So because the Ritiratma Kavyasya, one can understand the importance, the significance of Riti. Okay, so if the Riti is used in proper proportion, that alone can determine the success of a poem. So, and moreover, we have Vishwanatha, a poet, Vishwanatha, who says in his Sahitya Darpana text, a very legendary work, Utkarsha Hetava Proktaha Gunalankara Ritayaha. So, the Guna Alankara Ritayaha, he added Riti also. Okay, so the Riti, we can see, it enhances the beauty of a poetry. Okay, and not only that, we have poets like Dandi, Bharata, and King Bhoja. So Dandi in his Kavya Darsha, and similarly Bharata and Bhoja in his Saraswati Kantabharana. So all of them know, they praise, they appreciate the significance of Riti. Okay, so though I'm not coming to that part, okay. So first, let me tell you about the significance of Riti, okay, and its understanding. First, let us have a proper understanding on the concept of Riti. Then we'll move ahead. Okay. See, in Agni Purana, the definitions are given. In Agni Purana, the definitions are given for, as far as the Agni Purana text is concerned, it categorizes the Riti into 4 divisions, that is Vaidarbi, Gaudi, Panchali, and Lati. Okay, so in Agni Purana, Agni Bhagavan himself made an assertion to sage Vasishtha that if a person who wants to achieve the eloquence of speech, a person should know about the riti, that is Vag Vidya Sampratigyane Ritihi. Okay, so in Agni Purana text, the riti is being discussed only with definition, not with illustration. So therefore, I have resorted to taking the illustration from other sources of text. Okay. So first, let me let me explain to you about the significance of the riti, how the riti word is derived. Okay, so ring gatau, the riti, the word which we derive from the root verb called ring gatau in Sanskrit. Gatihi means everybody knows normally. Gatihi means what? Movement. So the movement of what? So it seems to be vague, no? So therefore, an explanation is given. In Sahitya Darpana, when Vishwanatha discusses about this riti, he says, Riyate gunanam visheshaha. Riyate gunanam visheshaha. Anaya iti riti. He is giving such a wonderful, beautiful interpretation. मतलब क्या है? So riti, riyate मतलब, so riyate means what? It goes along. It goes along with what? So that we have to understand. The riti cannot work in a poetry, in a kavya. The riti cannot work independently without the help of kavya guna. What do you mean by kavya guna? There are kavya gunas are 10 in number. Slesha prasada samata madhuryam sukumarata arthavyakti rudaratvam ojakkanti samadhayaha. These are the 10 in number, kavya guna. Okay, so therefore, as I said, riti cannot function independently without the help of, without the assistance of these kavya gunas. So here, gatihi means movement. That is what here means. So riyate means gunanam visheshaha. So the Vaidarbhi, Kaudi, Gaudi, Panchali, and Lati, and whatever according to different rhetorician, that is Alankarikas, it differs from poet to poet. It differs. Their views, their perspectives are differs. Okay, so along with the it means ritihi, the Vaidarbhi, Gaudi, Panchali, all these riti can go along with kavya guna only. With kavya guna only. So that is the first and foremost thing which we have to keep it in mind. And Dandi, a poet in Kavya Darshan, he categorizes this riti as Shabda Guna and Artha Guna. For example, Sleshaha, Samata, Sukumarata, and Voja. These four are classified as Shabda Guna, while Prasada, Arthavyakti, Udarata, Kanti, Samadhi. So these, these five are classified. These five are classified as Artha Guna. And Madhurya, one more thing is there, Madhurya, which is the mixture of both. Madhurya, it can take place even in Shabda Guna and even in Artha Guna. So basically, we have to have a proper understanding on gunas. Okay, so though many poets in Sahitya Shastra do agree that all the 10 gunas are important, but they are very particular on the 3 gunas, namely Madhurya, Prasada, and Voja. And Voja, because these are the ones which function into the sentiments, that is the rasa, namely Shringara. Shringara is a very main important rasa. Okay, Shringara and Veera. Shringara we say erotic, and Veera, valor, Karuna, compassion, Shanta, tranquility, and Bibhatsa, loathsome. So, but Prasada is exceptional, that can take place in any of the rasas independently. Okay, so and Vishwanatha list out the methods to be adopted. How the three gunas are to be used in a poetry in a well measured manner. We cannot take according to our whims and fancies. We cannot use the three gunas. Okay, the three gunas should be adopted, should be used in a well measured manner. So he list out the methods. Okay, so um, so there have been different views, no? There have been different views among the Alankarikas over the concept of, Riti. For example, if it is for Vamana, 3, and if it is for Bharata, Dandi, and Bhoja, Vishwanatha, we can say 5 according to Bharata, and Dandi according to Dandi it is 2, and according to Bhoja it is 6, and according to Vishwanatha it is 4. So why Vishwanatha has arrived to this number 4? Because even in Rasa theory, Vishwanatha follows the footsteps of Agni Purana only. Vakyam Rasatmakam Kavyam. So Vishwanatha follows the footsteps of Agni Purana even for his Rasa theory. To establish his doctrine on Rasa, he goes on the footsteps of Agni Purana only. So therefore, obviously, it is natural for Vishwanatha, even for taking Riti also, he is going in the footsteps of Agni Purana only. He is accepting the 4, that is Vaidarbhi, Gaudi, Panchali, and Lati. Okay, so now let me explain to you the significance of each of the Riti one by one along with the illustration. First, Vaidarbhi, let us see. उपचारेण बहुभिः उपचारैर्विवर्जिता नाति कोमल सन्दर्भा वैदर्भी मुक्त विग्रहा. It is the definition given offered in Agni Purana for Vaidarbhi Riti. So under what circumstances does the Vaidarbhi Riti take place in a poetry? So let me see. So the words which are devoid of lengthy compound fashion and in the context which are expressive of delicate sentiments like Sringara, Karuna. So on these circumstances we find the Vaidarbhi Riti becomes operational. Okay, on what circumstances? Words that are devoid of lengthy compound and in the context expressive of delicate sentiments like Sringara and Karuna. Okay, so an illustration is shown in Kavyalankara Sutra, that is Gahantam Mahishani Salilam Shringair Muhustaditam Chaya Baddhakadambakam Mrigakulam Romantamabhyasyatu Vistrabdham Kurutam Varaha Vitatihi Ustakshatim Valvale Vishrantim Labhatamidam Chashitila Jabandhamasmadhanuhum. So this is the illustration taken from actually Abhijnana Shakuntala. In Abhijnana Shakuntala, so Dushyanta, after having embarked in an hunting expedition, the beauty of Shakuntala, it attracts him. Okay, so Dushyanta sees Shakuntala at the hermitage of sage Kanva. So actually, what is the point here? As per the definition of Vaidarbhi Riti, the sentiment Sringara is very much known here. Okay, and even Veera, the Rasa Veera, Veera Rasa also is being displayed here, is being exhibited here, because the duty of Kshatriya. What is the duty of Kshatriya? Hunting is the duty of Kshatriya, isn't it? So therefore, all the 3 gunas, I mean the Ojas, Prasada, Madhurya can be seen here in this context. So the Vaidarbhi Riti is very much seen in this example. Okay, so and further let us move on to next Riti, that is Gaudi. Anavasthita Sandarbha Gaudiya Dirgha Vigraham. This is the definition given in Agni Purana. Under what circumstances that demand the the Gaudi becomes operational, that we see. So the Gaudi Riti, normally we can see this Gaudi Riti in a lengthy compound fashion. In a lengthy compound fashion, we can see this Gaudi Riti. Okay, so we can see the illustration. One can understand how does the definition work. Dordandanchita Chandrasekhara Dhanur Dandava Bhangodyata Shankara Dhvani Ragya Balacharita Prastavana Dindimaham. So the verse goes on. I don't want to say the entire verse. Here, Lakshmana praises the valor of Rama over the breaking of Shiva's bow. Shiva's bow. Okay. So here one can see, if you look into the verse, there is no space, there is no space given between the words. So that is the example shown for, Gaudi Riti. So here, the sentiment known as Veera, representing the two guna called Ojas and Kanti, can be viewed in this verse. Okay, so the structure of words seen in the verse are credited with lengthy compounds in compliance to the definition of this Riti. Then we have another Riti, Panchali. Upachara Yuta Mritvi Panchali Hrasva Vigraham. This is the definition. The definition says that under what context this definition works. Let us see. The setting up of words are made, without the element of lengthy compound, keeping the delicate nature of words in mind. So when we look into the verse, we can see Gramesmin Patikaya Naiva Vasatihi Pantas Dhunadi Yate. So enough space is given. So the words have been arranged in such a way that the poet, after ensuring that the space is there between the words. Okay, so that is the as per the, so according to the definition we can see. Okay, and here the content, the meaning of the verse is not important for us, because we have to go by the structure or formation of words. That is, in generally, Riti speaks about the structure or formation of words. Okay, so the structure of words seen in this illustration are found to be in accordance with the definition of this Riti, which represents the two guna, that is Madhurya and Saukumarya. Then the last one we have Lati. Okay, so the definition we can see, Upacha Lati Sputa Sandarbha Nati Vispura Vigraha Parityakta Vibhuyo Bihi Upachare Rudahrita. This is the definition given in according to Agni Purana. Here, this Riti, even Vishwanatha also is lamenting, because this Riti is almost seems to have forgotten by the poet, because very few poets only considering the Lati. Okay, they are giving due importance to this Riti. Okay, so the structure of words which are seen in this, according to this Riti, to be in a very comprehensible fashion and free from the influence of mass lengthy compounds. Okay, so Vishwanatha lists out the benefits of this Riti, which is used far and wide in a poetic work through his text, that is Sahitya Darpana. Okay, so an illustration is given here. Ayam udayati mudra bhanjana padminina mudayagirivana ali balamandara pushpam. The verse goes on. What is being described here? Sunrise. The sunrise is being described here. Okay. Here we can see when we look into the verse, the significant characteristics of this Riti, such as devoid of mass, lengthy compounds in the structure of words, and insertion of words containing a delicate syllable setup. Okay, employing appropriate adjectives depend on the circumstances of a poetry, which form the basis of definition of this riti. Because this particular point, employing appropriate adjectives is very much, used, is very much seen in this Lati riti. That is why I'm emphasizing um, the Lati riti that requires, the appropriate usage of adjective. The other three Riti, what we have seen, the Vaidarbi, Gaudi, Panchali, we don't have such a feature. Okay, so this is the very important as far as the Lati Riti is concerned, which is even endorsed by Vishwanatha himself. So, with this, let me conclude my speech, and I would like to offer my gratitude from the very bottom of my heart on behalf of the Kuppuswamy Shastri Research Institute, its staffs, to the Indic Academy and its organizers, Sri Dr. Nagaraj Paturi sir and Sri Harikiran Vadlamani sir, for having, given me a platform during this pandemic time, to me and scholars alike. And of course, my special thanks to Sri Vivek Devroy sir, who has given a very beautiful, insightful speech on Puranas. Yesterday I heard, I was amazed, at listening to his speech. What a wealth of information he has given. Thank you so much. Dhanyavada to one and all. If there are any questions, you can pose to me.
If there are questions, Muralidharan ji will take the questions. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next paper, Saksham Agarwal ji's paper. Some of the questions in the question box where they were asking Muralidharan ji to explain Riti, then only we will be able to understand. But there is no time now. The paper is completed, the presentation is completed. Probably I should have done that. I myself am an Alankara Shastra teacher, so I should have done the simple introduction to Riti before Muralidharan ji started his paper. But now that it is all over, only questions can be taken up if there are people who are already knowledgeable in Alankara Shastra, and if there are any specific questions on the relationship between Agni Purana prior Alankarika works and later Alankarika works, how they are connected to Agni Purana and all